Well, welcome everyone to the New Human Project podcast. I am Mira, and I have Daniel joining me today.
I'm Daniel. Hi everybody. Hi Mira. Good to see you. Good to see you.
So, we have a lot to dive into today, and the way that I feel that we're going to cultivate our time together is always with coming back to this concept and understanding and the dimensionality of embodying what it means to be the new human. And Daniel is a very dear friend, devotee of the sacred, servant of the divine heart, and just an incredible human being that I dearly, dearly love and see so much of this new human that is corresponding and growing.
It's about being human right there. It's part of being human.
And one of the things, actually, just what happened is really one of the beautiful pieces of the technology is this playfulness that can come alive when we really are intimate with one another and intimate in a way that doesn't require sexuality. It actually is about coming into witnessing of the divine in each other, in witnessing the vulnerable, the painful, and also the extraordinary, the sweet and the innocent parts of one another. And we've gotten to really explore that in such a natural way. And there's lots more that I can say about Daniel, but he is someone who embodies this masculine archetype that has, I would say, been lost to some degree, especially in a world now that is very focused on the awakening of the divine feminine, which is real and beautiful and deserves a lot of attention. And it seems to be this overlooking of the masculine, of the father, and Daniel does an incredible job of embracing all of the dimensions of that, all of the qualities, all of the challenge, and all of the light in it. And he represents what that can be and where that is going. And he's this father archetype that we'll speak more to as we go through the podcast, and we just see where the sacred takes us. So we would like to start our podcast with bringing an invocation, a prayer forward to establish connection with your own sacred timeline, with your own heart and your body and your relationship to the organic growth into the new human. So before we even enter into that, I just kind of took off. Is there anything?
Well, as you should. I'm Daniel. That father archetype is because I'm a dad and a human, and ultimately trying to become a better human, a new human. And wake up to, ultimately my full potential, and meeting this beautiful soul who I've known for eons and have reconnected with here in this lifetime. Getting the support and the help from such a beautiful being who ultimately embodies the divine feminine. And, my part in that is seeing that, is acknowledging that, is honoring, respecting, and serving that. And that's one of the ways I contribute with my masculine qualities. And I'm still trying to learn more about the feminine qualities of receiving and allowing and stuff like that, and you're instrumental with that help. So very happy to be here. I think it's a fine introduction. There's so many masks and identities that we've worn in this lifetime and many lifetimes that could properly use an introduction, and we'll get more into that as we go along this journey. But right now, just trying to bring it in, and ultimately continue on our path, our journey, and then ultimately provide some assistance and a sounding board and feedback, and just really, maybe start to say some words that have been rumbling in other people's thoughts and their hearts and their ruminations, and start to, help people come a little bit more alive, which is ultimately, I think, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're here together, we meet, we're trying to do this because we are ultimately trying to help each other get completely free, set ourselves free. So hopefully we can start to soar in this lifetime right now.
So be it.
So
it
be
is.
it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm gonna fix that.
There we go. Thank you. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you want me to do some invocating?
Yeah, pray us in.
Yeah, we'd love to pray us in. We'd love to just maybe take a second and just kind of get quiet and just try to relax, try to slow down a little bit. I love a good deep breath. Just want to say universe, spirit, source, breath, God. Thank you for giving us this day. Thank you for giving us this moment right here. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to come together and to open our hearts and to share and to be joyful and playful and be childlike and try to return back to our innocence with some wonder and some awe. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for whatever ears are to hear this, whatever hearts that are to be touched from this, from our journey, and we ask you to bless it and be with us and to allow us to get out of our own way and put some of these false made identities of ours to the side, and maybe for me personally, ask the ego to take a seat in the back and let our hearts come forward, let our souls come forward and interact and talk and converse and play and heal and help us move forward and try to impact some of our brothers and sisters in the process. Thank you for giving us this day. Thank you for giving us this moment, this opportunity. Let's go. Aho.
So be it.
So be it.
So be it.
So be it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I feel like real quick, we introduced me. I think like we should probably introduce you a little bit.
Okay, we can do a little.
We can do a little introduction to you. I'll go for me, and then you can probably explain a little bit better. But you are, well, you're my sister, number one, but you're a healer. Like, you're a beautiful, beautiful soul. You're a healer, and you represent so much strength and so much beauty and so much power, and your ability to go within and open up and connect with source, and from there receive messages, receive guidance, and then ultimately extend your hand out to your brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters that are walking this path right now, who ultimately decided to come here to this place at this time with everything going on around. Like, you're meant to guide and be somewhat of an oracle, to some degree. And what an honor to sit with you and do this and learn from you, and hopefully and help you right along your journey, like we're trying to do, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So more. What? That's what you are. You teacher. You. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, what I wanted to bring in, what felt really appropriate as we're starting this project of becoming the new human, talking about the evolution, the technology, and how you could actually relate to what that's like in everyday life, how you can identify with it. It requires to actually go back and talk about what preceded it. Mm-hmm. And for me, a huge part of it was addiction, mm-hmm. of dealing with addiction. And I think that even though I've shared this a few times, some people might be surprised to to hear that at one point in my life that I identified as an addict. And I think that that's a good place to start, is to really deliver a deeper understanding of my life, of my journey, and what feels like I've gained a lot of value and understanding and medicine in, which has helped me to guide other people in their own healing process. So that's what I would love to discuss, and I'll just need your help kind of keeping it in line, because for anyone who has identified with addiction, there's just a lot of different ways that it can manifest.
100%. Yep.
So I'm going to trust that whatever is most appropriate for the listeners will come through. I don't imagine that I will get into every little nook and cranny of what that was.
Right.
But
you don't need to.
Yeah, that was a huge part. And Daniel
same.
understands.
Same.
He gets it.
Yeah.
And when I feel like a good place to start is where it was identifiable by the outer world. Because even though on some very subtle level, like, I knew what I was doing was so impulsive and was creating, it was destructive in my life and in my body, but I really didn't get to that place of acknowledging that I had a problem, that there was an addiction, until my family actually, intervened, and there was an intervention. So when I was 15, there was a point in my life where I went through a really dramatic breakup. It was my first love.
First love, yeah. Oh, yeah.
First love. I was heartbroken, and somehow I found my way into this group of friends who was smoking pot, and they were taking pills, and it seemed really innocent, and it just seemed fun. And I also, in school, didn't really fit in anyway. I had been ostracized really, like, from third grade on. So there was like this real anxiety in me around social settings, particularly in school, and belonging. And that preceded school. I always felt like I didn't quite belong in any particular group. But when that breakup occurred, and I met this group of people, I ended up dating this one individual who happened to always have these supplies with them, and they were very popular because of that, and they managed it well. They were functional in their social groups, they were functional in their life. And I even didn't realize the degree of their addiction until many years later, when they told me that they were, not just smoking pot and taking pills, but they were doing cocaine during that time, and I had no clue. And so I innocently decided, okay, I'm going to give this a try, because my take on that heartbreak was, fuck it. Fuck it. And underneath that was a bit of a self-loathing because of the felt sense of rejection in it. So what started out as, this gateway entrance with marijuana, which it was beautiful. There were a lot of beautiful experiences in it, very eye-opening and mystical, which was something that I just always felt like my thirst could not be quenched by in the religious realm and with everyday life. So there were some beautiful things about that, but it got out of hand. And of course, as it does when we are trying to avoid or numb or just like turn down the volume on life and feeling, I continued to investigate and explore, then working with, I wasn't working with, I
Right.
was using opiates. I was taking all of these other drugs. I had my wisdom teeth taken out at 16, so
Yeah.
they gave me Percocet and Loratabs, and then I find out if I take too much of that, I get super loopy, and it just continued on, and it really, the journey, I found that it took many, many years to really grasp and understand what had happened to me in order for me to see that that was an appropriate coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And when I was 16 and I started, going into a lot of these harder drugs, into cocaine and other things like robo-tripping, drinking
Yeah.
a ton of Robitussin
Yeah.
and mushrooms and just high dosages,
Yeah.
lots of alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it was, there was this part of me that was like also wanted to show that it could hang.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of Scots Irish in me,
A little bit, obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
so I could, there was a degree of proving that I could fit in, proving I was strong because I was resilient and I could hold my own.
Yeah.
And there came a point where when I was using cocaine that I OD'd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after that, I went to an inpatient program.
Went to treatment. Yeah.
And I was there for the full 28 days.
How old were you at this time?
I was 15,
Wow.
actually.
Yeah.
I was 15, not 16. So a lot happened in a very short period of time when I was 15.
And young.
Very.
And still a child.
Yeah.
When this was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do remember sitting in inpatient and just staring out the window and being like, wow, like I miss being able to go outside when I want to go outside.
Yeah.
I miss the freedom and the ability to be with my friends or to drive a car or to be in my own bed.
Yeah. The little things.
Yeah.
The simple things that we take for granted. And then when we find ourselves in a place like that, that's all that we want.
Yeah.
Is those things, those small things that ultimately we're, grateful for. Keep going.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what it takes, right?
Yeah.
It takes these
Being humbled.
strikes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Being humbled.
The death, these points of isolation and revocation, where we really go, wow, okay, the simple things are what it's about.
Right. But how long did it take for you to really start to embrace that and embody that and live from that place? Because this was 15 when you went in, but the journey continues from there. So where did it go from there?
So I knew that there was a spiritual change that happened in that. I was having conversations with God, with creation, and with sincerity wanted to come home.
Yeah.
And I've always been spiritual.
Yeah.
And I was more religious when I was younger because I just didn't know any difference.
Right.
But the purity of that connection has always been there. And so that at my core has been my priority in my entire life. And it was the place I could come back to when there was nothing else that was sustaining me.
Yeah.
And when I left, I came back and said, okay, I'm never going to touch these these pills again. I'm never going to do cocaine again. I might do a little weed.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
drink a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
like I didn't see those as being problematic. And I never did. I never did cocaine again. I never did pills again.
Wow.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
with drinking and smoking, I still overdid it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
With some of those things. And then, you know, I found ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
but what was so interesting is that at that point, I was really intrigued by the medicinal value.
Right.
I was intrigued at looking at how can these be medicines, but I hadn't integrated that understanding and applied it to my own life.
Right.
But at that point, there was a spark. And what I believe what was occurring is that an older part of me in another lifetime that was very familiar with operating in alternative states of consciousness, particularly associated with working with probably plants, working with plant medicine, that there was a part of me that was remembering. It was remembering that connection with it. And so it was telling me it was giving me like these prompts of how to look for it, how to really understand why I was feeling infatuated and wanting to know the scientific repercussions and correspondence from a medicinal place.
Yeah.
So when I started looking at that, I eventually stopped doing anything with ecstasy, because there were several points in time where definitely had some guardian angels that prevented me from going to prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
or being killed.
Taking your last breath.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. There were a lot of very unusual encounters that I had that I could have been killed on the spot and drugs been taken. I could have killed myself with consuming.
Yeah.
And I could have been locked away.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. And I moved beyond that, and again, death kept coming to me. You know, I decided to go into massage school. I wanted to feed this part of me that was very interested in natural healing, particularly the Eastern modalities of healing. And during that time, I had left a abusive relationship that was physically and emotionally abusive. And shortly after that, my best friend was murdered. She was carjacked and she was murdered, and you know, it was tragic.
Yeah.
But who she was to me and how she saw me, she saw who I really was. Her leaving in the way that she did, there was a vow that I needed to take to become somebody who was able to help people out of their darkness and out of feeling like they were trapped.
Yeah.
To help them in the ways that she helped me.
Yeah.
And that really was a huge pivot point.
Yeah.
Where I started to get a hold.
Yeah.
And recognize that there was a need to continue this process of purification. And I want to just put a little note on that when it comes to addiction and speaking about enlightenment, because enlightening, we are becoming lighter. We're bringing more light into the body. And the process of enlightenment is to become disidentified.
Right.
Is to become nobody, essentially.
Right.
And when we're doing that, that's purification. That is letting go.
Yeah.
So for me, the way I look back at my evolution out of addiction it was very slowly I was eliminating these associations with wounded, hurt parts of myself, of
Yeah.
limited parts of myself. So I no longer needed to have that reflection and that corresponding relationship with a drug that reflected that. And I continued, for many years. I eventually stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. I stopped smoking weed. And then I found that there were other ways that I was addicted. I was addicted to sugar,
Oh yeah.
that I was addicted to sex. And I started, it's like the more I was removing some of these more fantastical drugs, the more I was seeing all of these different layers of addiction.
Yeah.
And then it got so subtle that I'm like, wow, okay, coffee is an addiction.
Yeah.
Codependency
Is an addiction.
that I think we all have. We all have. And we may not recognize it as
Right.
addiction. And so that totally changes the
Yeah.
game too.
Yeah.
And I say that to not bring anyone down, but just to like bring a clear, realistic framing of what we are navigating in becoming a new human and what we are historically relieving from our society and from our lifestyle and from our family units, and this process of purification.
Yeah.
And that has its own timing, that there's an intelligence
Yeah.
in that timing.
Yeah.
So I can say that I've gone through, I would say, most of the very relative
Yeah.
forms of addiction, and I've found my way to, I don't claim myself as a recovered addict.
Right.
Like that's something I had to also remove myself from.
That identity. Yeah.
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 And what has come from it with each and every one is a point of reference, perspective, and relatability that allows me to give what was given to me from transitioning from that darkness, from transitioning and healing the parts in me that needed that in order to not feel and not reconcile what I had separated from that occurred, in my childhood, in lives before.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think that I'll weave into in a little bit. And then I'll just kind of leave off and see where you want to pick up.
Yeah, I
with
mean,
this.
and there's so much to that. So like it's like, barely scratching the surface of this, this whole life, that's gotten you up to this point. And there's so many intricacies involved with that. So for me, and hearing you talk, it's like, who doesn't suffer from the dis-ease of addiction in some form or fashion?
Yeah.
Because as we, go through it, and you and I both started early, probably too early, I mean, we're children, and then we're experimenting with these adult things, right?
Yeah.
That, we look at, and I remember for me, it was DARE. It was DARE,
Oh, yeah, I remember
drug
DARE.
abuse resistance education. And I'm like seeing this at Our Lady of Sorrows, unfortunately, like 5th or 6th grade. And it's like, okay, what, like, I want to be bad. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try things. Like, that's just how it was for me. I mean, I started like very early. I think 11 years old, the first cigarette, the first drink of alcohol. It was a Cambridge King cigarette on top of the freezer downstairs, and it was an old Milwaukee's Best in the bottom of the fridge.
Oh, the beast.
Just disgusting, like just absolute garbage. But like I had to do it. It's like something like in me was calling me to do it. This kind of like rebellious, like, instinctive thing that exists inside me that ultimately, what we're coming to find out, what I've come to find out over many, many years is just searching for truth is searching for something missing, something to, fill a spot inside me. It was a search. And yeah, so my dad, drank a good bit of alcohol. So early on for me, it was like, that's not what I want to do. So I'm not going to be an alcoholic, but here's some marijuana, so we're going to try this. And then, from there, everything else that came in, like the amount of, pills and powder and stuff that, even I ingested in high school, like scares me.
Ooh,
Especially,
Adderall.
and
That
just
was a
you
big one
name it.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. And just our generation kind of being the ADD, ADHD generation of, well, we need to go and prescribe heavy at a very early age. And like, how many of us now are still, hooked on Adderall and like
Right.
still kind of, sucked into that. But anywho, I mean, I started early and did too much. And I loved how you said, at least where you started was the kind of the external effects, like what happened outside of you. Family started noticing, maybe teachers, school, people started to intervene. For me, the scariest part for me was being 17 years old and having a cocaine problem and like knowing internally. So it was internal for me, like knowing internally that, I've got a problem. Like, I've got a problem with this. I never said I would. Like, of course, I'm stronger than everybody. I'm play sports and make good grades and wear the mask and give the appearance that everything's good, everything's fine. Externally, nothing's going on. But internally, like, I was a mess. Like, it was scary for me at 17 to know that, like, I can't stop doing this, right? Like, I've got to have it. Like, that addictive personality, that addictive nature, and the ways and means that I was using to get the cocaine to keep the habit going.
Yeah.
And, fortunately, by, the grace of something greater than me, even at that time, not realizing at that time, but obviously knowing now the grace of a higher power, to kind of take that away from me, to take away the very, very hard stuff, the cocaine, the crack, at that particular time, and then kind of ultimately help me continue on my path, which ultimately was meeting my ex-wife and starting our family at a very early age. But since we're focusing on addiction and the disease itself, the addiction didn't go away. Like, I started a family very early on and, still had to have something. And lo and behold, there was alcohol. The one thing I said I was never going to abuse because of the family lineage and how it runs through the genetics of my family of alcoholism. Thank you. Just leave that alone. You want
You
to
can hear.
pat?
You can hear it.
Can you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I hope that didn't mess you up. No, I'm just. Can you hear that? I'm kidding. But no, and it's. I mean, I used all through my 20s. I also lost a lot of people in my 20s. Every time I had a child, I lost somebody close to me. So yeah, my mom, a couple sisters, a brother of mine who was, as close as they get. We'll talk more about him one day, I hope, because I need to share about him and his power. But every time I had a child, I lost somebody, lost some really close people to me, and I give a lot of credit to the substances at that time for helping me just get through that, because ultimately, being born in 1984 and having older parents, just kind of they grew up in a different time than us. So like, I was not taught how to feel my grief at that time, to
Yeah.
like express myself
Yeah.
emotionally. I was
Yeah.
not taught how to get vulnerable with another man, with another human, and just say, I'm hurting. Like,
Yeah.
this hurts. Like, I remember, like, when my mom passed, I remember that night, after going home, I just remember laying in the bed, like, just saying no, 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 like over and over and over, and just kind of in disbelief, just hurting so bad, like not knowing how to deal with that because it was so close. And yeah, so I had to continue to numb, and whether it was through pain pills and and some smoke, and obviously nicotine, tobacco is something that I continued, from age 11 and really, consistently since age 15. But I was trying to numb. I was trying to escape those feelings because they were scary, and I didn't know how to feel them like all the way at that time. And then I also had to give the impression that like I'm okay, like that
Right.
that my outsides, like I'm okay. I've got a young family, like I'm trying to show what strength looks like. So I'm going to bottle everything up, push everything down, mask, numb, and then just get through the day and just get through the days. And I thought that was strength. I thought that was being a man.
Yeah.
And you and I both know that's complete horseshit. Like that is absolute bullshit. That's not being a man. That's not representing, true masculinity. That's not the right way to do it. And we're going to talk about, and hopefully upcoming episodes and stuff like that, like how we teach our children,
Yeah.
how to be a male, how to be a strong male, how to represent the quality of masculinity and what that means. And that means opening up, that means sharing, that means getting gut honest, that means looking at yourself in the mirror and like going within and like really answering some hard questions internally, and then being afraid to. Is that my mic?
That's your mic.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're gonna put it on a different place. Yeah, just remind me that my mic's there.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's coming through.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do this without you.
Yeah, sure.
But ultimately,
That's a good point, though.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that needs to even be spoken to, is just like that the men born in our generation and after, that they've been given a certain template, a certain set of expectations that are built on a faulty understanding of masculinity, right?
no question. Yeah.
And in today's age, there's even more, I would say, pressure
Yeah.
and expectation to like double down on it.
Oh yeah.
And
go all
so
in.
to have people like yourself and like other men who are consciously doing this work of showing up despite like how strongly that's
Influence,
reinforced,
Yeah.
it's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle to sit here and to be witness to you in the way that you have reformed yourself back to your natural essence,
Right.
and to the natural presentation
Yeah.
of the masculine and how important that is. And I'm
Yeah.
just wondering like how much that plays into recovery for men in particular, of
Yeah.
being able to have the spaces to be vulnerable and get to do what the child didn't get to do
Right.
in expressing themselves
Right.
holistically, and just unencumbered by the I don't know, projections
Yeah.
of parents and society and things like that.
Well, no question about it. So I mean, it's like I can. So when I pray, most of the time when I pray, like I'm praying for other men that are going through some of the same struggles that I've gone through, that are going through similar struggles now, because like it is hard, because there is an expectation to embody strength, and what strength looks like for a lot of people may be different than what true strength is. But holding everything inside, not having anybody to open up to, and just feeling that weight and that overwhelm and that pressure, I mean, it is very scary. It's debilitating, and it sure does suck a lot of life force out of you, living in that constant state for so long. For me, just getting to the point of knowing that I could not stop all the using by myself, right? That was one of the clear lessons from the beginning. But before that, like, just let me jump back and say, the drugs and starting early, like that all served a purpose. Like that was all in alignment with what you said earlier, which is my story too, that like the spiritual progress has always trumped any other progress, material progress, anything else. It's always been important to me, as a child, to figure this thing out, to like figure out what the deal is, to grow spiritually. and to kind of, cut my own path and follow that. And that's absolutely what I did. And the drugs early on, like, they helped with that. Like, they really did. They served a purpose. They served a purpose of allowing my mind to open and take on new ideas and new beliefs that were a little bit different from what, I was brought up to believe. The religious affiliation that I was brought up in, the schooling, just everything that went with that. Always knew as a child that, like, there's something more. Like, there's something more to this, and that same kind of rebellious part, in me that, was looking at the dare cop saying, well, I've got news for you, buddy. I'm going to be doing some drugs. Like, thanks for coming. That same kind of that rebel, right? It was the truth seeker, you know what I'm saying? That wanted the spiritual knowledge, that wanted the spiritual fix, that wanted to ask the questions, that wanted to get the answers, that wanted to figure it out. And what?
Do you feel like that part of the rebellion is like what you have done has separated the sacred rebel from the one that was ignited by, needing to do something out of the shadow?
Yeah.
Is that what you feel like has occurred?
Yeah, to some degree. I think it's just to get a little bit broader, I feel like, this mystery, like life, like, what we're doing, what we're living, big picture type stuff is like, I don't know, let's just call it God, because it's easy to say God, source, spirit, creative intelligence, like all these things that we try to use to describe the indescribable. We're just going to say God. It's like God, like, thought it'd be funny to, like, have this big game of hide and seek. And, like, that's what life is. And, if there's life force in me and there's life force in you, right? Because there's life force in everything, living thing, and let's just call that God. That's a piece of the divine. And that's in all of us, and that's operating. And it's like God says, you know what, I'm going to, come in blank slate and just kind of get lost. And now I'm going to find myself, and let's find each other, and let's play like this big game of hide and seek. I think that's where that sacred rebel comes from.
Yeah.
Is trying to, uncover, like, rediscover, and it's all about, like, breaking those identities, like breaking.
Yeah.
So that's what it is for me. Like, addiction
100%.
is an identity, recovery is an identity. Like, all these things that ultimately are serving our higher purpose and our truth, like, they're identities, that we've taken on. And a lot of these things we brought in, with us. We take it on from, our ancestors, from our family, from previous lives, stuff like that. But ultimately we sign up, to go through this and ultimately break that chain, to eliminate that chain, to eliminate that identity. To bring us back, to our most authentic selves, our true selves, that God within, like finding ourselves, and then, communing and operating from that place, which, happens on down the line.
Yeah.
It takes time.
It does.
It does take time.
It does.
It's a journey.
I've found that an important part of the process of that purification, of, like, the releasing of, let's say, substance abuse or addiction or obsession, whatever you want to call it, that impulse that just takes you out of balance, is introducing things that will sustainably fill. Right? Which the only thing that could sustainably fill is source.
That's right.
So I'm just thinking in terms of when I stopped smoking, I started going to massage school.
Yeah.
When I stopped, I don't know, I guess, like, over drinking, I'm sure that there was something else I was doing at that point. I was going to the gym.
You had a replacement.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so for me, like, whenever I'm mentoring anyone who is struggling with that, it's like, okay, what can we put in its place? Rather than let's just, like, go cold turkey and take something out, which people end up relapsing when you do that, is why don't we just come up with a strategy to fill you up? Fill you up with the things that are going to nourish you both, physiologically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah.
So that's that's something that I want to share and make known, is that there are strategies that seem to support the healing process of addiction, maybe more so than others.
Yeah.
And for me, that was really helpful, and it's an approach that I continue to take.
Yeah.
Is it's I think it's always ever evolving, and that there's no one that I know of that doesn't have some relationship with addiction at some point in their
Sure.
life, because our life is this continuous evolution of needing to renegotiate balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we'll find things that we really like, and that our mind just keeps on as the default with it, even though our body's not on board with it.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Just how, like, we know we shouldn't do something, like we feel it, we know it. We know it's bad for us. We know it's time to let it go. And then yet we go against ourselves and continue to do it.
Who are we without it?
Who are we without it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
and we get to a point from there where it's like, I can't see myself not having it, not being with it, and I can't see myself without it. And that's a very scary place to be.
Yeah.
And I want to, especially if anybody's like in the real, like the grip of addiction, like just acknowledging like how scary of a place that is, and like how isolating and alone like that is. And if anything, just like in this moment, like just offering up to anybody struggling so hard and so bad right now, being gripped by the disease of addiction, to just know that you're not alone, and know that we're here for you, and we're thinking about you in this moment, and send all the love,
Yes.
and all the support, and all the care, and just let it be known that there's another way. Like there's another way, and like you said, it's finding something to replace it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and we'll get into recovery talk, and I'm a big believer in recovery and rooms and stuff like that, and the purpose that they fill. But for me early on, like eliminating all that, like I had to like go all in, like I had to do all the things, like I had to figure out at that time, whatever it was, I had to figure out something bigger than me, a higher power that I had to pray to. Like even if I didn't know what it was, like I had to be intentional with time, energy, and effort to make time for prayer. I needed to learn how to get quiet and start to learn how to listen, because I didn't do that in active addiction. I didn't do that in the first part of life. I had to learn how to do that. What?
Yeah. And I just want to say, for anyone that's listening, that there's like wounding and charge around religious affiliation.
Sure.
with higher power. I would invite you to just consider it, that it is this holistic, healed part of yourself that you are praying to. That all you're doing is that you are creating connection and conscious communication with the purest part of who you are and what you are, whatever you want to name that, however you want to identify that. If there's a charge, consider just framing it as that kind of reference. It's your future self.
Yeah.
It's the one that was before all of this, and the one that you are becoming after all of this.
Yeah. No, it's beautifully said. And I mean, some may call the higher self, right? I mean, just that kind of best version. But I know if you're like me, like inside of my thoughts and my feelings, inside of me, like there exists like a better version of myself, a best version of myself, in the way that I think, in the way that I act, in the way my character, my integrity is. I mean, that's there. So praying to that, like asking for help from that to kind of where I'm at right now, pull me forward towards that, is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I had to do all the stuff. I had to pray, I had to meditate, I had to, do all the things that they tell you to do when you come out of treatment.
Right.
And then lo and behold, I think I, out of 11 years, had 10 and a half sober, 7 and a half, working on 7 and a half, completely clean, any alcohol, stuff like that. All that's great. But then I get tied into the identity of recovery and like what that means and like having to wear that face. But ultimately, getting back to a point, we talk about becoming the new human, right? And coming into balance with ourselves and finding it's not going to be the same for everybody, right? It's not going to be the same things that ignite and spark, the soul of each individual person to take dramatic steps forward in releasing addiction and improving their lives and becoming a new human. It's different things. So finding what those things are and having the help of a teacher, of a guide, to kind of help that process go is all important stuff.
Totally.
It's all important.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's so vital to, especially in the critical time of making that change, of admitting the issue, of trying to apply resolve and to detox. It is absolutely critical that you have a physical representation of what's possible throughout that. That's why the mentorship, that's why the AA, the NA, these groups, is holding a resonant field for you to establish contact with a future self. And at the same time, so like there's seasons for all of this. There's degrees where these things are needed. And, sometimes for some people, they get to a point where they realize actually like staying in that at some point becomes like what I had transmitted yesterday. It becomes its own shadow. You become stuck in it. And so you have to then evolve into the next evolutionary phase of it. And there's so much value in always having contact with someone or some representative that is beyond where you're at.
Right.
That's holding space for your journey forward. And then it's also important that you're holding space for the one behind you, and that we continue, like we're all holding that golden thread, and we have to give what's been given to us. We have to make sure that the hands are open in the giving and receiving, and we're not clutching anything and becoming too self-centered and just focused on your world, but that you're also, willing to sacrifice some of your time and your comfort to make someone else's discomfort less.
No question about it. And the recovery term is we only keep what we have by giving it away, but apply that in life, like apply that same premise in everything, in relationships with family, work colleagues, people, battling through addiction. I know I love looking at where I'm at. That helps me feel not completely alone, because sometimes like I just feel alone at this, and I think we all do, but I have people in front of me that are reaching back with my hand and pulling me forward, and I'm learning from them and going in that direction. And at the same time I have my hand behind me pulling the next wave with me, and we're kind of all pulling each other together, and that is important. But if we're open and we start to develop a little bit of faith and a little bit of trust in whatever that is, then the universe starts opening doors for us, and gives us those people to connect with, and gives us those mentors, those teachers, those guides, those fellow travelers on the path for us to connect with when we most need connection. If we're open to that, I believe that becomes available to all of us. It's definitely become available to me, and I'm grateful for that. But then it's up to us to continue to walk that path. And we got to continue to go, because addiction can be a revolving door, right? And I just, want to mention it again that, we're not just talking about drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
We're not.
Yeah, I think we should just really name that. And of course, the naming it does not come with any kind of judgment. It's really just to lay this understanding that you're not that separate from the person that does claim addiction as a part of their life or a part of their past. But, coffee.
Well,
Coffee.
Yes.
It's a huge one.
I happen to have it every day. absolutely.
Pornography.
Yes.
It's
Keep
a
going.
huge one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Codependent relationships.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know a single person in this world who does not deal with at least one of those three.
Right. Right.
And
And I've dealt with all three of them. So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and
me too.
nothing to do, it was clean from drugs and alcohol the whole time, but still, had to put caffeine in my body every single day
Yeah.
through coffee,
Yeah.
which ultimately shocks my nervous system and gets me in a state and doesn't allow me the peace and freedom that I need internally to operate, in the way that I want to operate moving
Right.
forward. Codependent relationships, that can be with children, that can be with
Yep.
our children,
Oh,
that can be with our
100%.
parents, that can be with a partner, that can be at work.
Work
Like
colleagues,
no
for
question
sure.
about it, we get into a very, lower vibrational state of gossiping and shit talking and passing judgment, just through people at work.
Yeah.
Like that's its own problem. So yeah, I think, and there's more to it than that. It's obviously food.
Oh, yeah, the food. I mean, because we have to have it, right?
We have to have it. We have to, but we don't have to have a dozen glazed donuts from Krispy
Are
Kreme
you sure?
at one time. Well, no, I mean it's good.
Yes.
The
Yes.
amount of the dopamine that's released when and most people know this.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if you're high or not. Like if you're hungry and you get something sweet and that sugar, like sugar being
Yeah.
one of the
Oh, like
biggest
it's
drugs
the
in
top
this country.
one.
It's the top one, hands down, hands
Yeah,
down.
I mean the way it lights up the brain the same way as cocaine,
As cocaine
does.
does, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so just to say, especially for people who really have thought that they just totally that they're better.
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
that they can't understand addiction. They need to probably take a better look.
Yeah, yeah. A
Through,
little bit
through
deeper
this,
dive.
yeah, because it has existed somewhere in everyone's life, and I want to tie that into something that I realize as I have actually found medicine in plants that have been used for drugs, that have been used for entertainment, avoidance, numbing. I have found through shifting my relationship to myself from operating out of impulse, from just letting my desires completely take over me,
Yeah,
into conscious choice and cultivation and seeking source unification and healing. I've come into relating with plant medicines.
right.
And I've done that for quite some time. Part of the replacements, I was working with herbs, I was working with teas. I was, that evolved into cacao, and then it evolved into actually working with some psychedelic plants. And well, not plants, mushrooms. Mushrooms aren't plants.
Right.
But
right.
working in that realm from a place of honor, respect, and knowing that working with them wasn't going to be about pleasure. It was
Right.
actually going to be about allowing me to feel what I was not feeling,
Yeah.
and to process that
Yeah.
pain and
Yeah.
understand it, and to bring meaning from it. And one of the big releases and epiphanies, discoveries that I have received has been understanding that we all share this core wound of separation from the mother. It is an original wound of mankind,
Yeah.
and I could give it a very ethereal story, but I think that I'll leave that for people to question for themselves, like what would that mean if they say separation from the mother. In this life, there are a lot of ways that when we come into this physical world, there is a lot of separation from our mother, whether it's through receiving an epidural at
Yeah.
time of birth, which actually stops the hormonal cascade that creates the bonding chemicals, that creates the hormones for us to to go through the necessary emotional connection, which are neural networks
Yeah.
that link our nervous system with our child's nervous system.
Yeah.
Whether it's through the breaking of that, whether it's through all of these other forms of synthetic interventions, and not to, like, there's no judgment in that,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
I had an epidural when I had my daughter.
Yep.
And there's sometimes where these things are necessary, interventions are necessary, and there's sometimes we do it out of ignorance. We
Right.
just don't know what we don't know.
Right.
But the reality is that these things do have an effect, a long-lasting effect, and they can break our connection with our Earth Mother.
Yeah.
These wounds that we have inherited that feel like it's not okay for us to be emotionally available, that it's too vulnerable, that we have to be strong and not show our emotions, not cry.
Yeah.
When in fact, when we cry, again, these bonding chemicals happen between us and people that are in the room, especially between like a man and a woman.
Yeah.
For a man to witness a woman crying, there is, again, the release of oxytocin and some of these other chemicals that allow safety to occur, that allow softening to occur, and intimacy to happen. So there's that happens on a very 3D anatomical level. And, you know, perhaps there's something much more ancient than that has occurred. Perhaps there has been this point where we have separated off into a body, where we have separated from an existence that was perpetual connection and safety and knowing and simplicity. Perhaps there has been some kind of break in that, and we are remembering it, and we're being shown it by these experiences we're living in our life, by the families that we choose to be born into. And that in this day and time, as we are evolving into the new human, we're recognizing that that connection can be restored by connecting with our body and with the earth. And to unify the mind that's between these two, to unify the heart that's between these two, because our bodies are born of all of these elements and they return back to her.
Right.
And when we understand that everything on this earth, all of the animals and the plants and the rivers and the mountains and the deep earth, all of these are in our body. And the way that we pick up trash from the side of the road, it's going to have this effect of we're not going to intoxicate our body either, and vice versa. So there's this awakening of consciousness of the earth that's showing up in our own consciousness.
How about that?
Right?
Yeah.
And that leads me to shame. Shame is an underlying, unprocessed, like one of the heaviest emotional scars that's tied to addiction.
And it's paralyzing. And it can remain paralyzing long after doing the last drug. Like that's the part that we're, I think, ultimately trying to dive deeper into. Is like, okay, we remove the drugs and alcohol, we remove the relationship, we remove whatever the addiction was, but like, why don't I feel better? Or like, why am I not more whole? Like why am I not fixed now? Because, ultimately that addiction is a symptom of a deeper problem, which is a disconnection from mother. Isn't that, And when you were speaking, and I love when you speak because I love hearing you, but it's like the journey home, like the journey back home, the hero's journey, you know what I'm saying? Going and facing the dragon and then coming back home and sharing what you learned, but coming back home. And it's like when we were with our mother, for 9 months and in her womb, in the body, and then we're separated, right? We
Yeah.
come into this, right? And yes, we bring in stuff, but at that time we're blank and we're going to get ready to be painted by our environment, by our parents, by the teachers, by family, by all these things. But I think that's a great way to just kind of summarize maybe the journey, the path, kind of, for us, like with addiction and trying to come out of addiction, but like, the journey home, like the journey back
Yeah.
to the mother, because that's where we come from.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you said paralyzed, here's what came through about shame being paralyzing.
Yeah.
Is if this is a journey about recovering the connection that was lost in the human form, it starts with our nervous system.
Yeah.
So our nervous system it's the first thing that actually forms when we're just an embryo.
Okay.
The nervous system it's the communication. It is the tree of life in the body.
Yeah.
And when we hook up our physical body to this earth, there's this exchange of ions.
Yeah.
We release the positive ions, which actually cause a breakdown of the cells that cause a inflammation. So we release these ions and we receive all of the negative ions, which actually put us into recycling and regeneration. Well, what also occurs is that we hook into the nervous system of this earth, the electromagnetic grid, the pulse of the heart of the mother.
Yeah.
We hook into that. And because we have been separated, it creates this instinctual memory of survival, right? So it spikes cortisol.
Yeah.
It spikes the nervous system.
Fight or flight. Yeah.
And it's like there's a leak in the base chakra.
Yeah.
There's a leak in this consciousness of the planet that we're starting to seal up. And when we start to seal it up through the conscious connection with the earth system, our nervous system starts to get unfrozen, because what many of us have experienced is a functional freeze state. This is where coffee has become the perfect quote unquote antidote. Is because it makes us go up and over that response, becoming, we don't realize it, but it's just keeping us suspended and paralyzed in that state. So as the nervous system begins to unfreeze and we allow ourselves to drop into the safety that is inherently ours as a human, as a spirit, as someone on this earth, then we can begin to actually move through the shame. Because it becomes locked in the nervous system when it's frozen. It's frozen, it's paralyzed. So we start to thaw in that process. And it makes me think about the sun, right? Like the sun thaws us to connect with the sun too, with the power of the father, of the grandfather, of the lineage of light, of the Christic. And it's a gentle, sustainable thawing while the mother holds us and allows all of that to drop out of the consciousness. And the thing that I hear people kind of get stuck on when I talk about, like, let all of your shit go down into the earth. They're like, oh, well, she's already polluted. Here's what you may not understand. She doesn't see that as pollution.
That's right.
You are giving her something that actually provides resources to recover, regenerate, and restore.
Absolutely. To transmute, right? And I think the earth and the power of the earth, and not one single of us are telling her how to do it, or when winds to blow or storms to come. It seems like the earth knows what she's doing, our mother, and I believe does have the power to transmute. It's easier said than done, right? Because if you're someone like me who just, gets in the habit of carrying so much excess weight from the past for so long, and it just becomes habitual and it
Yeah.
becomes comfortable, then it becomes even harder, to allow, these things to fall away, these clothes that no longer fit, to be able to take them off and to, look for something new to wear. But the earth does give us a chance, assistance, help is always trying to talk to us, is always trying to bring us back home,
Yeah.
and giving us ways to do that. And when you talk about the sun, and when you talk about getting back in alignment, and this is just personally for me, because like I drank black coffee for a long time, you know what I'm saying, a couple of decades, half my life. And just in a short amount of time of being able to release coffee, release, that caffeine associated with it, just the amount of peace and clarity and more insight, and something we'll talk about one day, hopefully, a pretty special moment, connection, union with the divine, where I was able to receive a lot of love, and I attribute a lot of that to letting go of coffee, caffeine. There's power in that. But I've also needed to ground this new way, this new being, this new human that we're talking about into the earth. And I've, needed to let some morning sun hit my face and recharge and rejuvenate. And I think, it's all a part of it, like
Yeah.
incorporating all these things,
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Strategies and
Yeah.
making them.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with the seasons, because obviously in the winter it's a little harder to do some of these things, and so
True.
we have to kind of position ourselves for success
Yeah.
when the outer world is changing, and to be willing to adapt with that, because
Yeah.
it's also supporting our own healing and evolution and cleaning, because the seasons, they're about regeneration.
Right.
They're about being able to support,
Yeah.
the next thing coming.
Yeah.
And I want to tie back into what's possible when we're able to humbly admit and accept where we didn't know what we didn't know,
Right.
and now we are coming to that awareness of taking responsibility, because there's a lot of blame that shows up as a defense
Yeah.
because of how vulnerable it is,
Yeah.
and the remarkable amount of energy that's released when we take responsibility.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How much more, like, inherent confidence,
Yeah. Yeah.
just miraculously
Yeah.
comes from
Yeah.
claiming
Yeah.
your responsibility.
Yeah. And owning it.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. And I would say that a great deal of the empowerment that I feel in my own healing through all of these addictions has come from that.
Yeah.
It has started with claiming it, accepting it, being vulnerable, being really vulnerable about, being so human, being very flawed and also very perfect in
Yeah.
that flaw.
Yeah.
And what all of those deep, dark, hard spots of my life have done have generated so much awareness into the places that I feared, that is now something that people look to me and go, wow, like, how do you have this gift? How do you have this ability? Well, like, I don't have anything special.
Right.
I've just been able to navigate and go towards the things that were hard,
Yeah.
and that I wanted to resist and fear. And now it's like, wow, that's where all my gems were.
That's right.
That's like
Yeah.
actually what I came here to do.
Yeah.
Is to become this thing that I was really afraid of.
Yeah.
It's because there is a lot of power in it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of responsibility.
That's right.
To that power.
That's right.
And it's like an initiation that one has to cross through. And then once you do, it's just like, wow, wow, that was so much more of a gift and so much easier than I made it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I mean, we build these big walls and fortresses, hell, I mean, around our hearts, but in our minds. And, you know, the fear itself, is what's debilitating, you know, and getting beyond that. But there's nothing like, you know, standing up for yourself, right? And this is the thing, this is the paradox, right? Because in lots of communities, it's called powerlessness. Like, I'm powerless
Right,
over certain
right.
things, stuff like that. And ultimately, for, you know, a male, you know, who has tried to do things on his own and by himself and has failed miserably every time, trying to, you know, stop using, trying to do these other things solo without any help, and they really haven't, you know, panned out or worked. Like, getting to a point of, like, seeing the strength of asking for help. Hi, like, I need help. Like,
Yeah.
God, like, I can't do this alone. I need help. So it's when I admit, like, my powerlessness is when I receive the entire power of the universe, like, behind me, like the wind at my back,
Yeah.
to be able to push forward, to be able to face these things like you're talking about. And then with that, it's that inner fire, that, like, that confidence, like, you know, grows within. You know, every time I make a decision to be accountable, you know, for my actions and behavior, to admit when I'm wrong, that I made a mistake, to tell my child, you know, hey, like, you know, that wasn't you, that was me. Like,
Mm, mm,
that's my bad. Like, please forgive me. Like, to be able to ask for forgiveness,
yeah.
and then to be able to forgive. Like, those things, like, start to build, you know, that inner confidence, and you know, ultimately kind of the transformation, you know, into the new human. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a hard thing. Like, it's hard because, like, if it's easy, then,
It
like,
has been hard.
everybody's. It has been hard. Thank
It's
you.
getting easier.
It's getting easier. It's getting easier. And if it's hard for anybody right now, like, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
the motto of that is it's going to get easier.
yeah,
It
yeah,
can get easier. We just have to allow it to
yeah.
get easier.
Well, we learn to stop resisting it.
Right.
We learn to trust the process. We
Right.
learn to trust that the thing that feels hard is the way,
Right.
that the obstacles actually
What's,
are the
what
medicine.
stands in the way becomes the way.
It's
No
the
question.
curriculum.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so it's not that, I don't know if it's that it gets easier, it's that we become less resistant, so there's not as much pain,
Sure.
there's not as
Okay.
much
Yeah.
struggle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like as these new humans becoming, that going back to the nervous system and going back to, like, the calibration of the physical vessel to become an appropriate interface for the soul, for the higher self, for the light, for the spirit, that this purification is, it's the disidentification, like what you were talking about, of the ego. And when we become less identified with the ego, we're operating more from the neocortex. When we're operating in the ego, it's a lot of the time, particularly from the survival point of view, it's the back brain, which cannot grasp God. It
Right.
cannot listen to God. So being able to unfreeze and to start eliminating and practicing the things that are going to activate the neocortex, it's like the conduit, the channel that is transmitting the soul is strengthening, it's clarifying, and it's because the body is now, it's equipped with the proper housing to be able to receive and distribute
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think just to kind of pull all of this together in the form of the new human, I hope that many of you receive this as what's possible.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, going from hard drugs, abusive, you know, relationships, ODing, almost dying multiple times, to now moving through and, you know, recovering or healing from the most subtle wound around codependency, and how much healing has occurred for me, how much my nervous system has healed in this last year, to where I'm no longer in a functional freeze,
Yeah.
where I was able to go, whoa, I've lived with anxiety my entire life,
Yeah,
and
no
I've never
doubt.
been able to name it
Yeah.
because it was so prevalent. It was like totally engulfed
It's
my
like a
identity.
cloud that like just surrounded being, aura,
Yep.
facets of life, all of it. Yeah.
And the fasting of the codependency and the sitting in that, and how long it took.
Yeah.
It took a year
Yeah.
for my nervous system
Yeah.
to go through thawing,
Yeah.
and then like a rebuilding of my body, like literally eating foods that were redeveloping my body and creating
Recycling cells and new cells and
yes,
absolutely.
new organs, new rhythms, new systems. And I'm still in that process, but I feel very well established in it, and that I feel to give so much of my life and my life force and my story to those that are somewhere in that journey, whether you're, in the beginning, in the middle, or you're towards the end, and knowing that it does lead you to a place of liberation, of freedom, of abundance, of recognizing that you have been created and equipped with a technology that allows you to create whatever environment you want to live in. But the temple itself, the body itself, just like any instrument, requires tuning, and it requires care, and that does, at this time, it requires purification, detoxification on every level. And when we're looking at the matrix, that with all of our 5G, it's getting broadcast, and it's actually like pulling people into a certain paradigm and way of thinking, or rather remaining in a paradigm, keeping them in a paradigm.
Yep.
And what you're doing when you are investing in the practices, the produce, the people, all of these P's, that are resonating with the organic earth, you are becoming more of that and less what's the word? Not intervention. Like you're just less vulnerable to the matrix. You're less vulnerable to that broadcast. You're more internally stable within the natural technology that says you are broadcasting your reality. Do not let this other paradigm come in and confiscate your power and use it to enforce more of that matrix. The more that you deliver yourself back to the earth, to communion with spirit through your body, and investing into foods that are alive, investing into people who are reflecting your light and your heart, and giving, and giving, parts of your life away that are going to people who appreciate it, to people who bring value. That is what will activate you on your highest timeline and fortify this new technology within you. And right now, in this moment, if you want to claim that, you can just say that to yourself, that you claim this new human template, and that you are receiving all of the coding, the information through every circumstance, and that maybe even after this broadcast, that you are recognizing in every interaction there's a message there for you that's bringing you home. Every interaction, you become more aware, more conscious of your role, your individual, unique role in the whole, which makes this all work.
So it is.
So it is.
Jeez. Yeah. Thank you for that. Wow. Wow. And just, moving forward, like, just the support of that, right? And like, the how to, just
Yeah.
like sometimes just like the easy thing, like what's one easy decision I can make to, change the trajectory,
Yeah.
of my morning, of my day, maybe of my life, right?
Yeah.
Just one small, little change. We'll be here talking about it,
Yeah.
like in support of that because, I mean, we've had our journey, like we've had our way, and to get to this point, and then we still got to keep going,
Yeah.
so like using these things to help us continue to move forward, to ultimately like unplug from the matrix, which ultimately is the construct, is society, is the system that has been put into place, by people way before us for a long, long time, to ultimately keep the majority of people asleep
Yeah.
and walking
Yeah.
around, brainwashed and not fully awake, and not, fully awake to their potential, and to what the real truth is, which is ultimately coming back home to ourselves, and awakening in such a way, that we become the new human, that
Mm-hmm.
we all operate from that level, um, and start to take us, further than we've ever gone before. Because my God, it's time.
Yeah.
Like it's such time.
No more perpetuating the shadow, and that's what the Matrix does.
No
It
more
keeps us
perpetuating the
in the
shadow.
perpetual shadow
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah. It's time to step into the light. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should
I
we high
so agree.
five? I
We,
feel
we
like
can
I
high
feel like
five it.
that's like a high five
Is that
thing,
a high
right?
five it? Okay. So we'll just anything, we'll high five it. Call it in. Bring it. But I love that you said, like, if this is you, claim it.
Mm,
Like, take ownership, take responsibility. Like, if
yeah.
this is you right now, claim it. It's yours. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's ours.
Yeah.
Let's go get it.
So be it.
So be it. I love it. Good stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, this feels like so good.
Yeah, it does.
Feels really, really
Yeah, it
good. It
does.
feels, yeah, I'm really grateful for all the listeners that showed up to receive this broadcast, because just like the foods and the people, you're receiving nutrition. You
That's
are
right.
receiving a frequency, and you are becoming a part of the coherent field that then broadcasts to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all coming into this resonance, and I feel so honored
Yeah.
to just have you witnessing and experiencing and participating in what's coming through, what's not mine, and
Yeah.
it's not Daniel's. It's just, it is beyond our small little selves and our
Mm-hmm.
identities. It's you. It's you and what our collective soul
That's right.
is happening to emanate and transmit through these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being here and for receiving this podcast, and thank
Yeah.
you so much, Daniel, for all the multidimensional ways
Yeah.
that we are just getting to live out
Mm-hmm.
what many lifetimes have accumulated
Yeah.
to provide us this opportunity to do it with a lot of freedom
Yeah.
and less pain.
Yeah. And playfulness, and
Yeah.
some fun, and some joy, and some seriousness when needed, but also just with nothing but love.
Yeah.
Like all love. Like thank you. Like I honor you. Like thank you. I honor this. This is important. We got a lot more coming,
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
really do. We really got a lot more coming, and it's exciting, and I can't wait. Well, let's do
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
let's do it.
yeah. And I'm going to close this broadcast and leave the opportunity that if any of you have something on your heart that you would really love for us to connect in on, and to provide a transmission
Yeah,
to bring us those topics, and those those areas that feel really relative for you, because if it's personal, there's also a collective thread,
that's right.
and we welcome you to share that in the comments, or to contact us directly, and we're happy to listen what the mystery wants to share,
Yeah,
and how she wants to share it. And Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
grateful for you to be here, and we leave you with so much love and appreciation for all that you are and all that you are not.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.